Hey everyone, I'm Josh Olson. This is my YouTube channel, A Conversation With. Today's guest has 20 years with the Rockford Icehogs and he's currently the Director of Business Operations. Today I have a conversation with Mike Peck. Mike, how are you?
Hey, Josh, I'm doing awesome. We're in the middle of hockey season, the season that we weren't sure if it was going to happen, and we're just making the best of it.
That's great. That's great. So you graduated from the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. Is that correct? With a
Yep,
communications degree?
that that is it. Good old UWSP, as we like to call it.
So after college, what was your big break, would you say? Was it the Ice Hogs? You came straight to the Ice Hogs?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do after college, and I went to high school here in Rockford, and I came back to Rockford, and it was like, all right, well, what next? And I did some broadcasting in college at Stevens Point for the hockey team, the football team, the women's soccer team. Did a little bit of basketball, and there was just an opportunity to get an internship here with the Rockford Icehogs, and I never really considered seriously working in sports after college, and I just threw my hat in the ring, sent a resume over to the Icehogs, and the director of broadcasting and media relations at the time was a guy named Mike Kalinowski. And Cal, as we call him, he reached out and said, "Yeah, we'd love to bring you in for an interview." And it was a quick interview, and basically got hired on the spot. And to put it in perspective, I started right after 9/11, 2001. So
Oh wow.
it's obviously a time period that I'm definitely going to remember forever. But starting with the Icehogs, in the team's first couple of years was a really interesting experience in a town that really hasn't had a great history of supporting its professional sports teams. And lo and behold, we're charging through 20 plus years here in Rockford, and still going strong. So it's been a good.
That's great. That's awesome. So you interned with the communications department as in the media department, I guess you could say?
Yeah, as kind of the public relations, media relations assistant, as an intern, and then I got hired on as a sales executive the following January. So I was only technically an intern for, I don't know, four months or so, and then I was a sales rep slash PR assistant. And then Mike Kalinowski ended up getting a job with the Manchester Monarchs, who were in the American Hockey League at the time, and I got promoted to the broadcaster position, and did that for about 13 years, along with obviously wearing a bunch of different hats, because that's what you do in minor league sports. You wear a lot of different hats. And, 13 years later, had kind of, I guess, too many kids in the mix. I have three kids, and it was a lot on my wife. So I had an opportunity to transition into my current role of director of business operations. And I've done that now for the past, 5 years or so. I did have 1 year of kind of overlap where I still did the broadcasting, and was doing the director of business operations. But yeah, it's been a fun ride. I mean, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning every day. I like to think I know a lot, but I know I don't know everything. That's for sure. There's so much that evolves in this I guess industry, and it's just fun picking people's brains, whether it's people have been in the industry for a really long time, or young people just getting into the industry. And a lot of times they have fresh new perspectives that we don't always think of. So it's been fun.
What would you say if you had any? What were your expectations going into the Ice Hogs? Did you expect to be 20 years in director of business operations when you first started out, or did you expect to be somewhere else maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't expect to be here for 20 plus years and end up being the director of business operations. And it's funny. Not too long ago, I actually reconnected with the original general manager of the Ice Hogs. His name's Kevin Cummings, and Kevin's been throughout the sports world for a really long time, and he's the one that actually gave me my first full time job here. And just kind of reminiscing with him, and I had the conversation with him. I had no intent or no thought of being with the organization that long. And, my goal for a long time was to be in the National Hockey League, specifically as a broadcaster. Outside of a few interviews, I never got that opportunity. And, that's just the way life goes. I mean, it's a competitive world out there, and I'm really, really happy with the path that my career has taken. Me and my family love it here in Rockford, and I wouldn't change anything.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the Icehogs a little bit. They're in the UHL from 99 to '07.
Mhm.
They won the championship in '07. Besides the championship, do you have any? I know you were the play-by-play guy, but do you have any other memories that really stick out besides the championship?
I think it's kind of funny because the championship, you're right, is a top memory. But then I think the very next game, which was our first game in the American Hockey League, stands out. We played the Quad City Flames. Quad City made the jump from the United League to the American League the same time we did, and they were our big rivals back in the UHL days. And we were sitting in the arena, which was called the iWireless Center. I don't know what it's called now. It used to be called the Mark of the Quad Cities. And Tim Attila, a guy that used to do color commentating with me quite a bit, we were sitting there and just going, "Wow, we're in the American Hockey League. This is pretty cool." And then the puck dropped, and you looked out on the ice, and the Icehogs had Corey Crawford in net, Dave Boland, and Troy Brower, and Nicholas Jelmerson was hurt, so he didn't play that game. But Colin Frazier, I'm trying to think some of the other names in that first game. Dustin Bufflin was injured, so he didn't play. But we just had a slew of guys that ended up being the core group of players that would be in Chicago with the Blackhawks when they started to build their dynasty. And it was just such a awestruck moment for me personally, because again, my goal was to get to the National Hockey League, and that path was through the AHL. And lo and behold, there we were in the American Hockey League, and watching all these top prospects for the Chicago Blackhawks. And it was just a really cool moment. And the AHL has just been such a fantastic experience. I mean, I love this league. There's so many good people in this league, whether you're talking about the front office in the AHL or the other teams. And I'm always picking the brains of the people in this league and from the other teams. And it's just a really cool fraternity to be a part of.
So in 2007, the Icehogs signed a 10-year contract with the Blackhawks to be the direct affiliate. What are your thoughts? I know people were kind of worried about it. They kind of had a negative reaction, but what was your reaction to it?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because you're right. It was a mixed bag of I guess responses from our fans. I was ecstatic. It was almost it was a 2007, so it was almost 14 years ago to about this time. It was in March. Yeah. And we had a press conference. Dale Talon was the general manager of the Blackhawks at the time. He was here. We had a big press conference to officially announce. Of course, word had been out for a while that we were looking to make that jump to the American Hockey League, but it had to go through some different hurdles, cross some hurdles and get some approvals. And just the feeling that we were a part of the Chicago Blackhawks was incredible. And if you go back to the spring of 2007. The Blackhawks, they actually had been voted by Sports Illustrated as, I don't know what it was. It was like for a lack of a better term, the worst major league sports team in North America, because they just had a long stretch of futility and some mismanagement. And, but they were on the rise. Jonathan Taves was in the pipeline. Duncan Keith, I believe, was in his second year with the Chicago Blackhawks. Brent Seabrook was a rookie. Corey Crawford was playing in his second year in Norfolk with the Norfolk Admirals. They just had, Dustin Bufflin was an up-and-coming prospect. Troy Brower, all these guys that were big contributors to their championship core were either just beginning their careers in Chicago or were in the American Hockey League with the Norfolk Admirals. And just looking at the roster and seeing where the Blackhawks were potentially going was just so exciting. And we had to explain to people, this wouldn't work in Rockford, Illinois, if it weren't the Chicago Blackhawks. You're literally going to be seeing these players in Rockford tonight, and then they're going to be called up to Chicago, and they're going to be on TV tomorrow night. You're going to be watching them on TV tomorrow night playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. And, of course, that's exactly what happened. All these guys were bouncing up and down. Chris Versteeg was in Rockford tonight, and then all of a sudden he's called up to Chicago, and he's, making his NHL debut for the Blackhawks. And just, again, running down that list of players that came through here, that have come through here and still are, and seeing them in Chicago is just, it never gets old. It never gets old seeing these guys accomplish their dreams of making it to the NHL.
I know you mentioned it, but I think that's what some people were worried about at the beginning, like the players getting called up and the team in Rockford not being any good while Chicago succeeded, which eventually they did.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was, there weren't a lot of Blackhawks fans in this area, because of, the unfortunate, reputation that the Blackhawks had for a while there. A lot of people just weren't turned on to hockey. So, I always make the comment, before the Blackhawks became the affiliates here, I think we had more Blues and Red Wings fans in the building because you wouldn't see a lot of Blackhawks jerseys, but that turned quick. I mean, the job that Dale Talon and Stan Bowman and the group did there to turn it around, and then Stan Bowman over the last several years now to maintain that success. I mean, this is Blackhawks country, and it's been awesome. And as for guys getting called up and maybe having the team in Rockford here not quote unquote play as well. Well, that first year here. The Icehogs played the Chicago Wolves in the second round of the Calder Cup playoffs. That series went to 7 games, and the Wolves ended up going on to win the Calder Cup that year. I am very confident that if the Icehogs would have won that 7th game, they would have went on to win the Calder Cup that year. That team was just unbelievable. And that year, off the top of my head, I want to say we had 18 different players go from Rockford to Chicago. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. We essentially had an entire roster go between Rockford and Chicago in that first year. And the team was unbelievable. And yeah, we've had some lean years here in Rockford, but as major league clubs, whether you're talking the NHL or Major League Baseball, as they kind of go through their cycles, that's just kind of the natural process. And the Blackhawks have been very good to us here. We've had some really good playoff runs. A couple of years back, we made it to our first ever Western Conference Finals before falling to the Texas Stars. And again, that team was unbelievable as well. And we've had a couple of teams that were championship quality. And again, I think you have to be realistic. You're not going to have a championship quality team every single year. But over the 14 years, I would say we've had about 3, if not 4 teams that really truly were championship quality clubs. And I think that's a pretty good percentage.
I would agree. Let's talk about what we've been dealing with for the past year now. COVID-19. How's that affected you? How's that affected the Icehogs in general?
Yeah, it's it hasn't been fun from a work standpoint, that's for sure. I count the blessings every day. Myself, my family, and pretty much everyone around me has been able to either stay healthy or really able to overcome any obstacle that's been thrown at us here. But I was furloughed. It was almost a year ago to the date. All the way through right before Thanksgiving. And that is with the majority of our staff here. And we're still feeling the repercussions with furloughs. The majority of our staff is still on furlough right now. Fortunately, we have hockey games. And again, the Blackhawks have supported this organization to allow us to play this season. But we don't have fans in the building. And it's great to see the hockey on the ice, but it's not the same without fans. And I know it sounds really cliche, but when we're sitting there and the game's going, we're playing music. We're still trying to do some of the normal in-game stuff to make it feel like it's a real game for the players and the coaches and the officials. But there's no fans, and you look around, and it's kind of depressing. So we're grateful that we're able to play. Some players are getting an awesome opportunity from a development standpoint to play some games to get better. There's a lot of guys that probably shouldn't be in Rockford, but should be back in juniors that are here. But because of that situation, they're getting a great opportunity as well. But we can't wait for the fall when we can welcome some fans back in the building here. And we still don't know what that is, obviously, whether it's going to be full capacity or if it's going to be 50% or 25%. But we're confident we're going to have fans back in here, and it's going to be just a very emotional moment, I guess, because if one thing I've learned over the past month and a half with this hockey is, we do this for entertainment, and I've always viewed this as entertainment. I've been a big sports fan forever, but sometimes I think we lose the mindset of this is entertainment, and I think that's really been exemplified here over the last 6, 7 weeks that, this is entertainment and we need fans.
So you said fans in the fall. Is there a timeline for that, or is it just kind of up in the air, or?
Yeah, everything's still up in the air. Illinois has been pretty locked down with everything. Things are starting to open up. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, obviously, that's what our hope and anticipation is. But that's still a ways away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be optimistic with the direction everything is going, and hopefully keeps trending in the right direction. But I'm obviously not a doctor, so I don't pretend to be, or try to make predictions. It's more hopeful thinking, and I think we're on the right path.
Okay, so getting back to some better news. I heard some news. You can tell me if it's true or not true, and if you can't speak on it, that's okay. Um, the Blackhawks potentially buying the Icehogs.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little limited on what I can comment on that. It is exciting. Again, it's the
Absolutely.
Blackhawks' commitment to this organization and the city of Rockford and the surrounding area. So that's really the truly exciting aspect of it. There's still a few hurdles to cross over for the sale to happen, but it looks like it's on that path. And it's like I said, it's exciting for the franchise and for the city here. And unfortunately, that's really about all I can comment on it. But we're excited for the prospects of that coming to fruition.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now I know you said you can't comment, but the possible relocation of the Icehogs, or they plan on staying set in Rockford? If
No. Part of the RFP that was put out by the city of Rockford and Rave, who is the board that oversees the arena and the hockey team, is whoever purchases this organization has to make a commitment to Rockford. So the expectation is there's going to be a long-term commitment here in Rockford, and again, that's where the excitement comes in, and the Blackhawks really see this opportunity of continuing to grow this fan base here in Rockford. And again, it's growing the Blackhawk fan base and growing the game of hockey. And the Blackhawks have done such a good job over the past several years, ever since we've been a part of the Blackhawks family, of growing the game of hockey. And and that's when you take a step back, that's the most important thing. Getting the youth hockey involvement increased, and getting more people interested in watching games or coming out to games, whatever it might be. And that's such a focal point of what the Blackhawks do. And same here in Rockford, but now, it'll be even more. And just to be a part of that family over the past 14, 15 years has been exciting, and it's just going to continue to be so.
That's awesome. I just have a couple more questions for you. I know you're busy. The first one, what advice would you give to somebody, say at Full Sail, graduating in the sportscasting department? I'm not in sportscasting, but what advice would you give them in getting into the industry in times like these?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting times, no doubt, because there are so many people that are furloughed or lost their job. But at the same token, at the same time, everything's going to open up again at some point. I mean, this too will pass. Obviously, it's going to look a little bit different when we get on the other side of it. But there's going to be job opportunities. A lot of people have transitioned out of the industry. There's a lot of people that have been furloughed or have been let go from their job that are going to be looking to get back in. So there's going to be competition, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities out there for young people to get involved and get in. My biggest advice would be, do internships. And I say internships because sometimes you have to do multiple internships. Get that experience, expand your network. Just get involved, and that's your best way to get your foot in the door in this industry. And I don't care if you're talking about hockey or football or baseball or golf or NASCAR or whatever it is. It just get involved in internships, whatever it takes, get some experience.
And my last question would be, if you weren't with the Ice Hogs doing director of business operations, what would you be doing? What's another
Oh
career that
man.
you are interested in that you would be doing?
Man, that's a tough question. I've been doing this for so long. I just can't picture myself doing anything else. I actually originally went to school to be an architect, and then I switched my major to communications because I just wanted to get involved with the campus TV station, a radio station, and newspaper up in Stevens Point. And that's something else. Taking a step back, if you're still in college, get involved at your university. Most universities have great resources for you to get involved and get experience. And I did that at Stevens Point, and that really laid the groundwork for what I was able to do and get my foot in the door here with the Icehogs. So, but I don't know. I don't know what I would be doing if I weren't doing that. I can't answer that question because I've never really thought about it. Probably 15 years ago, I thought about, well, geez, what would I be doing? But now I just don't know. Maybe something in broadcasting, maybe a disc jockey. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'd be doing. Sports talk radio show host. Who knows?
That's perfectly fine. I just thank you for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, Josh. It's always good chatting with you, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching today. Did you enjoy this conversation? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to be notified of all my conversations. See you again soon.